So some of the really neat aspects of this car is just how original it really is. In terms of pieces we reused, refurbished versus replacing. Good examples are the wheels are all correctly dated to the car. They're the original wheels with the correct date from when the car left the assembly line. Even the hubcaps themselves were pick and filed, re-chromed. They even have dates on them. The rear glass is original to the car. Some other neat aspects are trims. The headlight lenses on the car, they are completely specific marked. They're very, very rare to find these in original condition. They're not perfect, but they're absolutely fantastic for their age. So we opted to reuse those versus replacing.
Bumperettes, those are all original, just restored. All these overriders are all original, restored. Obviously, hood grab handles original as well. All the vent windows are all original to the car, all restored as well. Door handles are original to the car, restored.
So in terms of labor, just this area alone, you can imagine every one of these rivets, these pieces were all fully disassembled, completely refinished, polished out, re-nickeled, re-chromed, then completely reassembled, re-riveted. So an area like this is a mini restoration just on its own versus buying a complete aftermarket piece and just putting them in. There's many, many hours just in a simple component just like that.
And even things like this dash pad, like we basically had to rework the whole dash pad because the original one was pretty rotten actually on this car. So like you add your padding, you add your fiberglass, you do all that kind of thing just to make the shape. So everything is, like Byron said, a mini restoration.
So the entire car is almost all original sheet metal, and that can be proven by all the specific dates on them. So when the door panels are off the car, they've actually got dates and serialized numbers on them. An example you can actually still see through this grille is there's a 727 that is stamped inside of here, and that's just indicative of all the original components on the car versus replacing them. They're a little hard to see, but there's aspects of that part number that are all over the car. Just going back to show its originality, and that's where the value is in these particular cars.
And then even something like this here, like the reproduction do not have that number with the Gila on it. As well as this here, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but they have markings on there. And these lights, those lenses are actually original polished lenses as well. So all those little details is kind of what makes the car special.
Some other really special components to the car, never mind the fact that it's the born with numbers matching motor and transmission cases. This motor actually has its original born with crankshaft unmachined. It has got its original crankshaft, camshaft, connecting rods.
Yeah, connecting rods.
A lot of its internal components are all absolutely pristine, original, used pieces.
Even things like this back glass, like it's not perfect, but it's original to the car. So things like that, they have these little markings on there, these Syracuse. So that's actually the original brand.
Steering wheel is kind of a neat mini restoration as well.
Kind of a neat piece too, yeah.
So the steering wheel in the car, as well as the bezel, the horn ring, all of this is all original to the car. It certainly didn't look like that when we started. It was all full of huge dry cracks. There again, the steering wheel itself is kind of a mini restoration project in its own. All the cracks are filled, repainted to simulate the original bakelite finish that they came in.
So like each of those components, there's like dozens and dozens of small parts that not only do you clean, but you got to refurbish, paint, plate. So it's not just a matter of just taking it apart, cleaning it, put it back together. It's like, now, good examples of steering wheel. You take it apart, you fix all the cracks, now you're waiting weeks and weeks just to, wait for a little chrome trim. So then it takes, so at the end of the project, you all of a sudden have all these like mini projects that you have to complete before the car's even done. Not just as a whole, it's all these little mini projects. So like even the door handles, there's probably eight different pieces to the outside door handles. There's little seals and clips and what have you. There's so actually a good example as well is like even just these hinges here. There's I think there's a dozen for sure pieces inside there And that's another good example too. Like these are all re-chromed, so now you take it all apart 1 week, and then you wait 4 or 5 months just to get them back. So everything has to kind of come together quickly at that point.
Another really neat aspect to the car, On spoke to it earlier, is its original tool kit. We didn't even choose to restore it. We left it in its complete patina. All the tools are unrestored. The bag itself is unrestored. The leather clasps, everything is all as it was, as we found it, just simply cleaned it. This happens to be the original rubber trunk mat in the car. That's not a reproduction piece. It's absolutely fantastic that we were able to pull it apart. Nobody had been rough with it prior to us getting it and tearing it all to pieces. So it shows some age, but it's also a part of the heritage and the uniqueness of the particular car.
And then again too, just the dated wheel. And all the rest of the wheels correspond with that 558 date, along with the hubcaps.